loves, welcome back to our channel. Prepping is one of the most important things that you have to do to make sure that your nails last as long as possible. Today we wanted to share our tips and tricks, show you how to do it properly, and also share some of the common mistakes that a lot of people make and how to avoid them. We have a lot to cover today, so let's get into the video. Before we get into the prep, I want to go over the tools that I like to use. I'll be using two different cuticle drill bits today. One is a crosscut ball-shaped bit, and the second is a fine cuticle cleaning bit. I'll also be using a cuticle pusher, and I have this one that's dual-ended, so it helps me get in there really well. Cuticle nippers, nail clippers, a medium grit hand file, a medium grit sanding band, nail tips, nail glue, and acrylic nail clippers. So as you guys can see, my client here has some damage on her nails and around her skin. And you can tell that she lifted her last set, and she also has some hangnails on there from cutting her own skin and pulling it. So today I thought it would be the perfect time to show you guys how I work with clients like these. One thing to remember is that if your client has really thin, brittle nails, they are more prone to lifting because the product won't adhere on there as well. So this is a perfect time to show you guys how to prep the nail and avoid lifting with nails like that. As I mentioned, she is a lifter, so her nails are quite thin but not super damaged, so I'm still able to apply a fresh new set on her. You can also see that there is some dead tissue around the cuticle area right here, so we're going to take care of that for her today and make sure her nails look really pretty. I'm going to start off by gently pushing the cuticle back with my cuticle pusher, and this is going to expose any of that non-living tissue that needs to be removed. As you're doing this, make sure you're assessing the area and seeing what needs to be removed or just pushed back. I like to get really detailed with my cuticle cleaning because I think it can definitely make or break a great nail set. Not only is it going to make every set look amazing, it's also going to ensure that you don't have any lifting as your client's nails start to grow out. I also like to be more detailed with clients like this one because I start to notice that's the reason that she starts picking at it. So I do like to take my time and really get in there. I really like using cuticle drill bits to remove the non-living tissue without damaging the cuticle, and this drill bit right here is perfect for that. It's really gentle on the skin, so as you can see here, I'm showing you it doesn't hurt at all, but it is going to polish the skin and cuticle area to smooth it down. I'm going to repeat on all 5 fingers and clean up as much as possible with this cuticle bit. Because she does have a few hangnails, I do want to polish the area instead of pulling it. This is not hurting my client at all, so you don't have to worry. You just want to do this very gently. I'm going around the cuticle area and very gently cleaning off the dead tissue. This is honestly so satisfying. It's one of my favorite parts. I love cleaning the cuticle area. There's nothing better than seeing a good transformation, and I knew she would be perfect for this video. So I'm going to go ahead and with my other cuticle drill bit and gently removing the non-living tissue by going in one direction. Don't put a lot of pressure because this could damage her nail, so go in at a slight angle so you're only targeting the cuticle area. Okay, as you can see, even though I pushed back and polished it, there are still some areas that need to be removed, so that's when I go in with my cuticle nipper. I don't like to go in with my nipper right away because I know most of it can be pushed back and polished off, and I don't have to cut it, so I would recommend doing that first, and then you can use your nipper for the parts that couldn't be removed. Okay, so now that we're good to go, I'm going to cut her nails. If your client's nails are short, you don't have to do this step, but her nails were getting a bit too long for her preference, so I went ahead and cut them for her desired length. Now I'm going to grab my file and I'm going to shape the nails and remove any dead tissue underneath. It's also going to create a really smooth surface for the nail tip to adhere to. Now I'm going to shape and get these nails ready for tips. I'm going to go in and start prepping, but because she did have some really damaged nails, I just want to go in very lightly and gently with my sanding bit to roughen up the surface and make sure we clean up some of those lifted nail areas. If you have clients with very thin nails and you don't want to use an e-file, you can definitely remove the shine and smooth the nail bed with a nail file. But I always recommend using the e-file because it's going to prevent any lifting and make sure that the surface is super rough and ready for acrylic, dip, or gel. The goal here is to get your client to come back to you in like 2 to 3 weeks with a full set of nails and tell you they have not lifted. And now that her nails are all prepped and rough, we're ready to move on to the tips. Now there are a few tricks when it comes to tip sizing and placement, so let me share some with you. Whenever you're sizing your client, you want a tip that's covering sidewall to sidewall. I want to show you what a tip that's too small looks like on the nail. You can see it doesn't fully fit from sidewall to sidewall. If I try to force it down, it looks like it fits perfectly, but because there's a lot of pressure, it could either crack or snap back up and create an air pocket under the tip. If your tip is too big, you can see there's a lot left on the side and it won't create a smooth transition from the nail bed to the nail tip. For a perfect fit, you just have to make sure that the tip fits perfectly from sidewall to sidewall without applying too much pressure. When you're all sized and ready to apply the tips, you also want to make sure you aren't too close or too far from the free edge. The sweet spot would be right around here where my nail is pointing. This is going to give you enough strength on the stress area and it's going to adhere the nail tip as best as possible. Remember, you don't want it too high or too low. You want it right on that sweet spot. Now I'm going to grab my glue and place a small dot right on the edge right here. You don't want it to overflow, but you want just enough on there to help adhere it properly. Then I'm going to press down and hold for 3 to 5 seconds until it starts to dry. And I'm going to repeat this on all 5 fingers and speed right through it. One important thing to keep in mind when applying tips is the direction of your client's fingers. It sounds a little weird, but it's why people often complain about their nails being crooked. As you can see here, my client's finger starts turning a little bit to my left, and I don't want to place the tip in that direction because it won't look right or straight. So the way we're going to make it look a bit more straight is by turning the tip like I'm doing right here, and it's creating that illusion that it's even. So now when you put them together, you can see they look perfectly straight instead of leaning towards the left. Once our tips are glued and dried, we're ready to cut and shape. We're doing a medium length for this client, so I'm using an acrylic nail clipper for this part. I'm estimating here just by referencing the little number on the tip and trying to make them as even as possible. My client is looking for a thin coffin today, so in order to get that shape, I'm going to cut a little bit from the sides and repeat on all fingers. Feel free to use scissors for this step as well, but I'm just using a nail clipper here because that's what I had in hand. Remember, this isn't shaping the nail just yet, it's just helping you remove some of the tips so you don't have to do a lot of filing. So we're pretty much doing some pre-shaping. I always recommend pre-shaping your tips before applying any product on top so that you can reduce the drilling and shaping time. As I'm doing this, I'm making sure to blend the tip to the natural nail bed and ensuring there's a smooth transition between the two. Now for our last step, we will be blending the nail tip to the natural nail bed to ensure we have a smooth surface for our gel, acrylic, or dip powder. I'm going to get my sanding bit and very gently start filing the nail tip into the natural nail. Be careful to only file the tip and not the natural nail, as it can damage the nail bed. Also be sure to use your sanding bit on the nail tip so the product you put on top adheres properly. And that's it, besties. That's how I prep nails to go from this to this. If you like this video and learned something new today, make sure you hit that thumbs up and share your own prepping tips in the comment section below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!